I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide podcast, Raw and Unfiltered. And why is it raw? Why is it unfiltered? Well, it's not planned, it's not scripted. We're not promoting anything and we're not selling anything either. So if you're looking to buy something, you're just going to have to go somewhere else because this is all about the raw reality of how we live our lives today and how it is that we can best navigate that. And what do I really mean about that? Well, it's simply this, really since the Jane Fonda with her fitness and things, wellness became a real thing in this country. And now it's a $1.4 trillion industry. But unfortunately, there's an overwhelm of information, misinformation, bad information, and stuff that's just not going to work for you. And this happens way too often. And so ultimately, you have to make the right decision for yourself. And quite frankly, if you make the wrong decision, it is your fault. People may not like to hear that because in today's world, the information is out there, the right people are out there, and it's your discernment to make sure that you get the right information and the right people. And again, I will say this quite bluntly, I know it's hard. And so that's why we have this podcast to help you navigate through the complicated decision process to optimize you and optimize your health. And how do we do that? Well, basically through role play and with these amazing guests who are absolutely amazing in their field of wellness and health and mental health and whatever that is that they do. We will role play with one person having a particular challenge or problem that you could absolutely relate to, or maybe you know somebody else who has that problem, and then the other will act as a guide. Now, because of time constraints, we're only doing that for about 6 or 8 minutes. But the truth of the matter is you'll be able to see yourself in a lot of what you will hear today, and also have the sense of, yes, there is a solution, there is a resolution, there is a way, there is hope, and there is clarity. And so that is my hope as you listen to us today, you'll get some sort of insight and some sort of action step that you can take. And if it's just connecting with my amazing guests, then that's already a win for you and them as well. And once again, I mean, some people might get triggered. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about today. That's the fun part for me. But you might get triggered. And you know what? Quite frankly, that might also be the purpose, because being triggered, being offended, being insulted or whatever that is for you, it means that there's an internal dissonance that's yelling at you that, yep, there's some work to do for you here because your intuition is telling you, I want a better life. And so instead of protesting, instead of fighting, instead of denying or defending, just listen in, tune in to the magic and the wisdom that you'll hear today. And hopefully you'll be able to take that step to resolve what it is important for you. So thank you, Cami and Dawn. What we'll do is we'll do a brief introduction by each of you, and then we'll jump into the actual role play for about 6 or 8 minutes, and then we'll unpack it for another 10 afterwards. So I understand that Dawn is the one with the problem today. Introduce yourself. Then we'll go with Cami, who's been with me before, which is an amazing podcast that we had last time, and then we'll do the role play. So Dawn, who are you?
All right. My name's Dawn Renee Bova. I put my middle name in there because nobody says my last name correctly. I am an artist. I'm an international best-selling author. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm an angel mom. And through all of those things, it's really brought me to where I am today, which is I've traveled through significant darkness in my life. And I started to, through self-discovery, learn different modalities and practices that help me get to the other side of the darkness. And I truly believe that we're here to be happy and live a happy, fulfilling life, no matter what life throws at you. And, I put that angel mom in there because that was one of my most significant dark spots, but I've had a few of them.
Awesome.
And, I want to share these modalities with other people because I really feel like it's something that can benefit everybody.
Awesome. And maybe we'll have to do a separate show on all those modalities because I absolutely believe in modalities that actually tap into the potential of the body to restore form and function. That's also my mission. But great to have an angel mom on the show. Thank you. Cami, briefly about you, and then we'll go straight into the role play.
Hey, I'm Cami Baker Miller. After a cancer diagnosis in 2018, my life took a complete 180. I changed everything about it and started pursuing my passion project, which is teaching women how to tap into their main character energy, become their own best friend and trusted advisor, and to gain unshakable confidence in their own choices. And I've recently just created a modality that basically created me as I was creating it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to put that out in the world very soon. And I can't wait to meet even more women that need this kind of help.
I love it. I love that modality that you'll be sharing with us later on that you invented. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And also to attest to what you guys are doing in a very powerful way is you've navigated or you walked in that path that most people haven't walked on and now are the lights, the guides to others because you have done it. And I would attest to the fact of your journey is that it worked for you, still working for you. You still have a journey to go. And for those listeners, reach out. And if it works for you, great. If not, find someone else as well, because ultimately it is up to you. So let's jump into the problem. Dawn has the problem. And again, it's a dialogue between two of you for about 6 minutes. I'll give you a warning when your time is up. So no worries there. And Cami is the guide. Go ahead.
All right. So, as a nurse practitioner, and my husband has a very successful career, I know as an adult, I've discovered that I crave stability, right? And I like to enjoy the finer things of life. But I also want to dive into other things, such as, sharing these modalities with other people. So I have this tug of war going on with myself. Do I let go of the stability job and dive into this other one? Or do I just keep trying to do it all like I'm doing right now? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've had a lot of big opportunities come my way, and I just don't have the time to do them. So that's the problem.
So let me break this down just a little bit and make sure I have this correct. It sounds like part of you really craves the stability that your nurse practitioner job provides. And
Yeah.
another part of you would really like to step more fully into this entrepreneurial role that you've been pursuing.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. This sounds like you have two different parts that are kind of having a tug of war with each other here. So is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to integrate these parts today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's start with the problem part. I wonder if I can talk to the part of you that wants that craves that stability. If you hold up your hands,
Mhm.
so hold them up where I can see. Yeah, there you go. Where does this which hand would it like to come out and stand on?
The right.
All right. And who does this part look like, feel like, sound like? Does it have a name?
It looks like me, like I am right now.
Okay. Okay. So I'd also like to talk to the part which this part is most in conflict with. And so since it'll be on your left hand, and it's
Mhm.
pretty much the flip side of the coin,
Mhm.
where does this part stand on that hand? Is it in the
Um,
middle, in the palm, the
in the
wrist,
center of the palm.
center? And what does this part does it look like, sound like, feel like? Does it have a name?
It is also me, but it is the child version of myself.
All right. Okay. So
Probably 8 to 10, I would say.
we're gonna call that one young Dawn.
Okay.
and just call your other one Now Dawn.
Okay.
Does that resonate?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the part that represents Now Dawn's highest intention?
Right now, I want to help people live a fully abundant, joyful life, despite what challenges life throws at them.
Okay. And for what purpose?
To show them that life is supposed to be joyful and happy and free. That's the purpose of it.
Okay. So for what is your true intention to for this part that wants to stay stable, wants the stability?
Oh, okay. I messed that up. Why do I want to stay stable?
Mhm.
The Now Dawn
What is Now Dawn? What is her highest intention?
for my own happiness and stability.
Okay. And for what purpose? What purpose would that serve?
It allows me to travel. It allows me to do things for my children. It allows me to do whatever I want in life monetarily.
Good, good. What does young Dawn, what is her highest intention?
Well, she's not really focused on the money. She's just wild and free and happy.
And for what purpose? What purpose does that intention serve for her?
I think that serves her, that's self-serving as well, you know, just living in the moment and um, experiencing life as it is and not
So
worried about other people or other things.
I thought she wanted to help people. I thought she was the one that wanted to help
Young
people.
Dawn,
Yes.
yeah, she does, but she's not really worried about, I guess she's not really worried about their result, maybe. She's just worried about living life happy, joyous, and free, like childlike.
Okay, let's
And
go back to Now Dawn for a moment.
okay.
So you said your purpose was to be able to was also self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
You would have the stability to travel and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what would that do for you if young Dawn were able to do the things that she wants to do in the entrepreneurial world? Would that provide anything for Now Dawn?
Maybe. I mean, it's quite possible that, you know, given the right tools and the right programs, young Dawn could make a decent living and still do the things that now Dawn wants to do while serving others.
Are you hearing what I'm hearing?
Yes, but now Dawn is still afraid. I'm just being honest.
I think what we've defined here, though, is that you want to be able to serve yourself while serving others.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a way, and it looks like you're bringing your hands closer together, which means you're kind of starting to notice these two can talk to each other.
Yeah.
Maybe where we're getting to is that maybe they need to have a conversation. In other words, your inner child needs to have that conversation with Now Dawn.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm just starting to journal on inner child stuff. So, wow, isn't that a coincidence? Or is it not?
I think that might be where you're what I'm hearing is that you really these two parts want the same thing,
Yeah.
but they each have something to share with the other one that would be of benefit
Mm-hmm.
and might bring you closer to the true answer that lies in your heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think young Dawn is more carefree, and now Dawn is a little bit more calculated, if that makes sense.
And there's a way you're still getting closer together there.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to take those risks and the reward that you receive from the stability and maybe possibly find a way to combine that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm getting closer.
I feel like the answer's right here, and that once you start doing that inner child work that you've been working on, you're going to find the answer. The answers are going to come pouring out of your heart, and you're going to find that solution.
I have some ideas for some solutions. I just haven't put them into practice yet. So,
And maybe that's, look, you're touching.
yes,
You want to wrap it up,
sure. Yeah.
Cami?
I think that where you just got to, I saw where you realized that, oh, well, they do have a lot more in common than you thought. It really is two sides of the same coin, but they have a lot of the same properties, for lack of a better word. And I love that you're already doing inner child work, that you've just started doing that. I think that really being able to bring the two parts together and start seeing them talking to each other will really help you, especially that visual that we've now created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Awesome.
love the vision.
Awesome work, guys. I'm going to contextualize this in a moment so that the listeners understand what we just did, or what you just did brilliantly. But first, briefly, Dawn, what was that all about for you? Just give us context.
I really think it was about realizing that I can still be carefree and fun and, somewhat risk taking and have the stability as long as I have the proper steps in place to do so.
Love it. Cami, what was that for you? Context?
I just really could distinctly see that it was two parts of the same whole that she was working with, and that made it easy to realize that all she needed was to be able to shift that perspective and see that they both want the same thing. They both want the highest good. And
Yep.
at that point, it's easier to work with.
So I want to give some context. Great job, guys. So the truth of the matter is that all behavior is motivated by positive intent. And this is from the neurolinguistic programming that we understand. And so, but it's based on all the programming that we learned, over time, especially growing up, that we didn't have any control over. They were just downloaded into us because we did not have the ability to discern. We simply did not have that maturity. And usually that only happens after about the age of 8 or 9. So clearly you're 10 years old. You want to be that free playing, adventurous dreamer out there. And that's the child within all of us, regardless of what kind of life you've had throughout. And so interesting enough, most people have a challenge living in the duality of our world today. But there's a reason. There's the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, and the up and the down and everything else. But ultimately, we all desire divine happiness. And the way I like to perceive, that journey of divine happiness is simply remove whatever makes us or stops us or prevents us from being happy. So let me rephrase that. Get rid of anything that stops us from being happy. What do you have left is just happiness. Same thing with love. Everything that gets in the way of love, just get rid of that, and then it's all love. And so the two parts, which you brilliantly did, obviously this takes a lot more time in general when we do the process, and it's also not in public, it's not on a camera, and that's all of that, but you still manage to make that happen. And what happens is that as a whole, we want to be unified. So we want to be together. And that's what, unconsciously, Cami was talking to the unconscious mind. We see these hands slowly coming together beautifully. And so that's where we find more harmony and balance within ourselves when we have someone as great as Cami guiding us towards that. So that's enough that I want to share. I hope I put that in context to the listener. Obviously, some people will only be listening to this, but if you watch the video on iTunes or Rumble, you can see the actual process, it actually happening, brilliantly. So Cami, I'd like to give you the mic now and share with us more of any of the insights and action steps that people can take in regards to what you just did, why it's so important, why you do this, and the kind of results that you're getting with people.
Well, the parts integration has always been something that I was able to use on my own once I learned the technique. And it's because you are becoming aware of just these two sides that are just, for lack of a better term, at war with each other. And you're getting them to communicate. It usually is an inner child issue where you can actually, if you can step back and start talking to your inner child, you're able to see that that a lot of the times that they both want the same thing, the highest intention for your highest good. But our child's voice was so stifled for so many of us that we don't ever really listen. We think that we have to be adults, we have to be of this world, and we don't really take the time to listen. And if you can step back and actually start listening, you can journal about it. You can, I get on my video app and I talk about it to myself, have a conversation. It's amazing the progress you can make with things that are seemingly insurmountable.
Yeah, and just to translate, what you just shared, a lot of the underlying reasons for people that have chronic illness is in part due to internal conflicts that are not in your conscious mind, and they're just running rampant in your unconscious mind. And it's based on rules. So the rules that define what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, but also the rules that have been imparted upon you from others, basically stating, okay, if you do this, then you're accepted. If you do this, you're worthy. If you do this, you are part of the family. And so those can come in conflict, right? So if you have a rule that says, hey, I just want to run around naked, in my house, and in my garden, and I'm happy with that. Okay, well, I think most kids would do that naturally anyhow, until parents said that's unacceptable. And so the truth of the matter is, if you run around naked in the street, well, that's a problem. But I just want to emphasize that it's not that obvious at times. And so sometimes we are following rules that don't serve us because we just want to please others. And that's internal conflict. I know, breast cancer is a big one for women, that internal conflict. And when someone like Cami can help resolve those conflicts, whoa, that is an absolute game changer. And I would say absolutely more so for women in general, for many reasons that people should know about themselves. Dawn, what would you like to share?
I really was enlightened by the whole inner child and now Dawn flip side of the coins. And I see it now. My inner child wants to be free. And I think we both want the same things, but just from a different angle. So being able to integrate those together and work towards that goal is going to be very helpful for me.
And that's what I think, NLP is such a great thing, this whole parts integration. I've done that with myself, guided by someone else, and it was absolutely brilliant. I was in shock, and in awe at the same time, like, what? You can actually do this? What else would you like to share, Cami?
I don't know, you caught me off guard with that one. I feel like, we don't, I feel like it's becoming more and more prevalent, especially with NLP. It's becoming more and more prevalent in other spiritual modalities, are really helping people realize that they've got these inner conflicts, these different parts of their same self, and that are telling different stories. The inner child usually has the correct story. And we've been conditioned to think, as we grew, that we had to listen to what society said and follow the herd.
Yeah, I mean the correct story, or the authentic one that's authentically you, in alignment with
Yes.
your heart, soul. And here's what's actually quite interesting. And people might be thinking, well, this is kind of nonsense. And some people even consider NLP quasi-science. And those are from those science professors in the universities who are not that open-minded. But the truth of the matter is, I just go back to 2000 years in Hippocrates. And basically Hippocrates says, and I'm totally paraphrasing it, but basically saying, look, if you want to heal, then you have to decide if you're ready to give up whatever it is that's causing the illness in the first place. And it's not like giving up booze or something, but it's giving up that internal conflict that's inside of you. And they knew this 2000 years ago. So I'm kind of confused why it's so weird today, because the reality is that our brain is connected to our body, the last time I checked, and that runs everything. And so your thoughts will have an impact, and also all those unconscious thoughts will have that as well. We're going to wrap it up. Dawn, since you were the one presenting with the problem today, I'm going to have you share with us how people can get a hold of you, and any final words, and then we'll go with Cami, and then we'll wrap it up. So Dawn, how do people get a hold of you, and any final comment that you'd like to share?
I think it's really important to find a modality of healing that helps you. And there's so many out there, and all of them carry an energetic way to open you up. And I've often said, it's not really adding things to me. It's really taking away all the little pieces and parts that block me off from the sunlight of the spirit. And that's my whole gig, right? I'm getting rid of the things that no longer serve me. And if somebody wants to reach me, they can go to dawnreneebove.com, and I would be happy to discuss anything further. And I have a lot of artwork up there too, because that's one of the things that creativity has really helped me get through the darkness.
Awesome. And in the description, you'll get her exact spelling and everything else, so you can find her. And Cami, final words from you, and how do people get a hold of you?
I would just like to say that I know that we as women especially really struggle with a lot of these things, especially with just feeling like we are not good enough at everything, every role that we have. And when you can find, it's like Dawn said, when you can find even that one thing that just makes you feel better, and you can just take that next step to feeling just the next step better feeling, and you continue that on a step-by-step basis, you will be amazed when you look back even a month, 2 months later, at the progress that you've made. And so find it, keep going, invest in yourself that small bit, even if you only have a minute a day. Do something that makes you feel better. And I can be found at my website, camibakermiller.com, and at my Substack, which is How to Live TF Out Loud. And I try to do that every day.
Awesome. The relevant truth is, about 3,000 years ago, our planet was ruled, was a matriarchal society. And then all these religions came up and stomped on women. And even today, women are struggling in so many different ways, disenfranchised in so many different ways, that it really truly is important that women get that opportunity to find their own freedom, their own authenticity in alignment with their heart and soul. And they absolutely deserve that. This planet deserves that. You're the nurturers of our planet. And so for sure, having that authentic feminine energy come out is so important. And hopefully with that, it's going to help solve many of these crazy wars that we are suffering from these days. The work that you both do is very important, especially for women. And it's no shame for anyone to reach out for help. I think the shame is not doing that because you're not serving you. It's not selfish to ask for help. It's not selfish to find people that can help you. Nor is it selfish that they charge you. I think this is a weird thing in the spiritual world, that people are expected to get services and not pay for them. That just doesn't make any sense. But the work that you do is really amazing. Once again, I want to thank you both. And my name is Dr. Bart Rademaker. This is the Doctor's Guide podcast, raw and unfiltered, in bringing to you the insights that can open the doors so that you can begin to optimize your health. As strange and weird as they may seem, the truth of the matter is any of those modalities in the right hands with the right problem will make magic for you. But it's up to you to discern who that is, what that is, for you to get the results that you want. Thank you, and we will be back.